And the U.S.-Canada alliance is in the news with President Trump hosting the newly elected Canadian leader, Prime Minister Mark Carney, at the White House today, where Trump promptly insulted him. But it's, in a way, a sign of the pressure on Trump's flailing trade war, lashing out and showing in his own way the perils of a go-it-alone foreign policy, while you're about to see Canada's leader debunking this Trump talking point about seizing Canada.
It would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale. Ever.
But never say never. Never say never.
That was some of the back and forth. A very stern and direct rebuttal that happens in these international meetings, done with a bit of Canadian diplomacy, almost a sense of cheer, as he referenced his own voters, the owners of that nation. Never going to happen. Meanwhile, buying and selling international trade is also in the news because most countries continue to stare down and reject Trump's tariffs. They're not blinking. We have data on the growing U.S. trade deficit, America taking in more, partly with some importers hoarding goods before the Trump tariffs kick in further. And that's a rejection, of course, of Trump's hoped outcome, that he's not exactly diminishing the deficit of trade, it's growing. Foreign countries also buying fewer American products. And remember, in the early weeks of Trump's tariff announcement, markets slumped. The top 500 companies down 7% now since inauguration. Further down today, it was a bad trading day. Companies are continuing to react to clearly the trade war not ending, but continuing. Apple had moved some production already to India, which is kind of its version of Trump-proofing production, with Trump targeting China, where Apple had factories. But you'll note there was movement, but not to the U.S. The tariffs did move some of the manufacturing, but not to America, as Trump claimed it might do, just to a different foreign country. The trade war is grinding on. Other big companies are saying they can't even issue reliable plans amidst this uncertainty. Take Ford, known for its cars and its car commercials and speed 0 to 60. They're suspending financial guidance, which means they're literally saying in public, given the Trump administration's tariffs and confusion, they can't say how it will impact their business. This is Ford's CEO.
They had a big drop in net profits, but it's the guidance that everybody's focused on. You are expecting an impact of $1.5 billion because of tariffs. This year, you've suspended your guidance. Do you expect these tariffs to be in place permanently?
We do, at least for the next 3 years. So we think it's, a significant issue for the company. They are significant for our company, and, we're doing everything we can to mitigate them. There's a lot of things that are still unclear, and that's why we suspended guidance.
Unclear, suspended guidance. Mitigate means you're dealing with something bad. Mitigate significant means we're dealing with a big, bad Trump problem. As a CEO, particularly in this environment, he's sort of putting it as neutrally as he can, but you don't mitigate good things. Other finance experts are noting that Trump is forcing America to navigate a potential recession or a period of stagflation. That's from the Murdoch-owned Wall Street Journal. Those are fighting words. Stagflation is part of what famously doomed President Carter, telling people to put on a sweater rather than turning up the heat, if you remember all the way that far back. Stagflation is, to simplify, when you have rising prices from inflation colliding with a bad market economic period where people aren't earning more to keep up. In other words, if prices go up but you're in boom times, you don't have as big a problem. It's the kind of lose-lose the government finance experts try to avoid with their planning. One of those type of officials, Trump's Treasury Secretary, is now facing Congress and testifying about something we've heard a lot, these claimed negotiations with many countries, although he says they're not doing it yet with China. The Trump administration has not, of course, been able to announce any of these negotiations leading to a trade deal.
There are 18 very important trading relationships. We are currently negotiating with 17 of those trading partners. China, we have not engaged in negotiations with as of yet.
All right. So he's telling Congress there are these negotiations among most of these countries. But remember, it's been 94 days since newly elected, inaugurated President Trump first announced the initial tariffs, not the ones that ended up really sinking the economy, but there were a first round for North America, Canada, and Mexico, 94 days. It's been 34 days since Trump busted out that big list. And we keep tracking the news. It's now been 23 days since trade advisor Peter Navarro announced on television that the administration was moving towards what he called 90 deals in 90 days. Now, forget 90. How about you get one announced? The Washington Post reporting on this problem, this vibe change, how it's gone from prosperity to austerity. Trump's tone shifts ahead of tariff impacts. Let's take a look.
Your paychecks will be higher. Your streets will be safer and cleaner.
Is it okay in the short term to have a
Remember
recession?
this. Look, yeah, everything's okay. What we are, I said, this is a transition period. Your communities will be richer, and your future as an American will be much better than it ever has been when I get in.
I think your question is so stupid. I mean, I think it's I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
Because this will be the golden age of America.
A young lady, a 10-year-old girl, 9-year-old girl, a 15-year-old girl doesn't need 37 dolls. She could be very happy with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5.
There it is. Meanwhile, the conservative National Review hitting at the Trump hypocrisy by going at part of what you see on the screen here, which is Trump's long time life as a rich person, much richer than most everyone else in the country, from childhood, from his father's wealth. Now, that is, of course, a personal point that is not raised very often on the conservative right. It's about Donald Trump being revealed as someone who tells everyone else to cut back while he clearly doesn't. And that is known. And it might be a reminder why, for all the bluster and the PR, he got fewer votes in 2016. He got fewer votes and lost the presidency in 2020. He's had setbacks in other midterms. And he ran on what I just showed you in 24, a bunch of promises about things that aren't happening. Lowering your prices, improving the economy, period of prosperity. What people voted for is what they're not getting in this early period of the Trump second term.